Okay, let's call this meeting to order. Please stand so we can recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. We'll start with a roll call. Greg Smith.
Present.
Lori Quinn. Mike Schneider.
Present.
Adrian Saunders.
Present.
Robin Simpson.
Present.
Jason Osborne will not be here tonight. We have a quorum. Let's proceed. We will begin with a review and approval of the minutes. June 5th should be tab 4.
Actually, the documents for the June 10th special meeting are also included.
Okay. We need to do those independently, separately, or can we do them both at the same time? Okay.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from June 5th, 2025, and the special meeting minutes from June 10th, 2025.
We have a motion on the floor to approve the minutes from the June 5th and the June 10th meetings. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion second on the floor to approve the meetings of the Board of Aldermen's meeting for June 5th and June 10th. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Okay, next thing on the agenda is the mayor's report. I'll try to keep this very short. I need to request that the administration committee place on their agenda the selection of 5 members to what we call a board of adjustments for our ordinances. I would like for you to undertake that at your next meeting that you convene and see if we can come up with 5 names. They can be citizen members, of course, led by or not led by an alternate. Simply all up to you guys. How you want to structure that board of adjustments.
You gave us a couple of meetings ago an outline of the functions of the Board of Adjustments. Yeah. Okay, just refer back.
We can certainly go back and review our ordinances and pull that back up and get that to you guys. If you need for me to do that, just let me know. Next thing, I think everything else here is going to be handled all within the department reports. If not, I'll bring them up during those reports. So that concludes my report. Next on the agenda will be the city clerk's report, found under tab 6.
Just have a couple of things real quick. The annual Monroe conference is coming up July 23rd through 25th. This is a requirement for our annual evaluation. We do need to be represented at the conference. The rates for a member to attend are $350. The rates for mayor or council to attend is $185, and then the hotel is $179 a night. And of course, this would be for any department, street, police, whoever would benefit from going to the conference. The agenda should be in there for you to look at too as well. But just need a motion to approve registration for.
Do we have people from the city that were planning to attend?
We did have one, however, that's changed.
Alex was going to go, I think, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure Alex was probably going to go.
He was the one, yeah. Then we had another one that was set to 10, and that's all changed too. But so right now, as far as someone from administration, I don't have anyone. But you know, we've got some time, you know, to get, you know, that filled. We just don't want to miss representation from the city because it will be reflected on our assessment.
So,
You can register, because they have to register by a reserve.
Right.
There is a price difference by after July 16th.
Correct. That's why
That's why you noted that.
That's why I noted that RSVP date in there.
so were you able to cancel the other reservation?
Nothing's been done yet with the
Okay.
reservation. They just now opened it up.
Oh, okay.
Not too long ago.
Cool.
But I would just need a motion to approve elected official or employee.
Can we just say representative from the city? I'll make a motion for a representative of the city to attend the MIRMA conference, which would include the registration and hotel expense.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to approve the attendance of city personnel to the annual MIRMA conference. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second on the floor to approve attendance to the MIRMA conference by city personnel. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries.
The next item, Jackie and Phoebe did walk the cemetery 2 weekends ago. And Jackie always goes around each year and identifies stones in the cemetery that we considered. I've included those in your report there to look at. We do normally set aside money each year to repair these stones. If this is something we want to continue to do, we would need to just put it out for bid. Looked like
Just
there
to
was-
confirm, we have money in the budget this year, I know for it, and this is what we're planning on using. This is the time that we're going to use that budget.
Correct.
Okay.
I noticed, I believe there's 12 on the list. One of them, it says it just needs to be, the top just needs to be put back on. I don't know if that's a street department thing.
I believe it's one of the big tall ones. I mean, it's not huge tall, but it's probably 4 or 5 foot, I bet. It's row 12, plot 25 in section D.
Yeah, I can show you. What is it?
Section D.
Section B. But if that's something that we want to continue to do, I just need to put it out for bid.
Since we have budgeted, I'll make a motion to repair the cemetery stones identified.
How would you state that, Robin? I didn't get
I'll
that.
make a motion to,
Well, why don't, I
wait, we
mean,
have to put it out for bid, yeah.
there we go.
I'm sorry.
We have a motion on the floor to go out for bids for the repair to the stones in the cemetery. We have a second.
I'll second it.
We have a motion second on the floor to go out for bids for repair of the cemetery stones. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries.
And you will see later on in the bills to pay, there is reimbursement in there for Jackie for her time spent at the cemetery doing this for us. BSNA, we talked about this a little bit at the last meeting, about putting payroll and HR back into our package. We had a conference call, webinar, whatever you want to call it, with BSNA. The other day, Mike came and sat in on it with us. If this is something we want to do, they need to know as soon as possible so they can get it integrated into our package, because they are setting a time frame right now for all of our modules on how we're going to come online, how we're going to do the conversion, everything like that, and this would need to be factored in if we want to continue, if we want to go this route. I would like to go this route, you know. I know in the end it will be beneficial for us to have it in-house. My only concern is just making sure we have staff that's going to be able to do it, is my concern. But I know.
Just to review kind of what you talked about last time, What are we paying for, do you know how much roughly we're paying for current service?
It's about 15,000 a year.
15,000 a year, so that, I mean, you could justify some staff just on that.
Yeah, because this would end up costing about 7,200 a year after we purchase the initial software, which is this 37,000.
And we have had issues in the past with them not filing the payroll taxes and stuff correctly with the other.
Well, they filed them, I believe. They were actually withholding food taxes, and we're exempt from food.
Oh, so there was, okay.
Yeah,
That
and I
was
called
an issue.
them when I noticed it, and they've got it all corrected and everything, but,
Jeanette, when will this roll out? I know you're talking about staffing, and I know currently we're
everything will
struggling.
roll out. The go-live date is December 8th.
Okay.
Everything would be December 8th with the exception of utility billing. And that will be second quarter next year. However, when we spoke to them online and we got to talking about our utility billing right now, they feel a lot better with being able to get our information from G-Works now than they did before. Because G-Works, they've been working, of course, with G-Works in other towns, and they haven't really been coming with the information. But we aren't completely on cloud or whatever, cloud-based, I guess. And so we still have a lot of that customer information here, and so they feel like things might go a little smoother for us. So it could be sooner for utility billing, but everything else is December 8th. There's going to be lots of calls in between then. I was thankful Mike was there the other day, since we don't have Alex here, doing IT stuff. Mike was a great help on things. There's going to be lots of calls back and forth, so.
But your preference would be to include HR and payroll into it. Okay.
And after the initial setup, it'll actually be half the price of what we're paying.
It will. Yeah. I mean, at first it's going to be a bigger expense, but you'll quickly.
Caption.
Yeah.
It sounds to me that you have reservations relative to having the appropriate staffing to implement payroll. But payroll would come online December
Yes, it will.
at the
too.
same time.
Yes. Which would work out great, with the end of this year, starting with next year, as far as W-2s go, stuff like that.
My recommendation to the board would be to give utmost consideration to approving it, and admin will have to make it work. I've heard many comments over the past year and a couple of months relative to issues with Tession from various different aspects, from data entry to problem solving to incorrect, I'll use the word loosely, transactions, and the ability to for us to do anything, because we have a deadline that we have to meet with them, and if you don't meet that deadline, your hands are tied relative to payroll and issues of checks. It's your call.
Now, I will say, Sina at Tession, she's wonderful. I mean, she's our account person, and whenever we do reach out to her, and she's always there and very helpful. So, I mean, it's not, I wouldn't say it's any of their customer support issues. There's just, I know our staff, our employees would prefer to be in-house.
Well, it just makes sense to have it all in one place.
I
to
agree.
me.
Yeah.
If something gets broken, it's broken internally instead of here and there and everywhere. So.
It'll all talk to our general ledger, our bank, everything.
Yeah.
That'll save you a ton of time.
Yeah.
I would entertain a motion to approve it.
I'll entertain a motion.
We have a motion on the floor to approve the addendum of the payroll and HR software to the BS&A enterprise software that we purchased in the amount of $37,050. We have a second.
I'll second.
We have a motion second on the floor to approve the purchase of the payroll, what is it called? Payroll HR module to the BS&A software, amount of $37,050. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries.
That's all I have, unless you don't have anything.
Okay, the next thing we have on the agenda is the city attorney's report. Mr. Russell?
Nothing really to report. Worked on the ordinance and the library lease, which are in the packet. We'll discuss those later. But
Okay,
other than that, nothing to report.
so we'll discuss whatever is appropriate during the appropriate time relative to the ordinance and or the library contract. Okay, very well, thank you very much. Next thing on the agenda is authorized guest speakers, Monroe City Area Fire Protection District. Good evening.
Some of y'all heard or not, but we got the money for fireworks. Coming for a permit to be able to shoot them. July 4th will be starting. Hopefully the first shot will be 9 o'clock. So, I didn't know. I'll just bring it up to get a permit or see what we need to do to be able to shoot them all.
Are you guys planning on the same place as usual? As I guess last year. Yeah.
Same place as always.
I don't know the process. Does anybody know?
Does it just require a motion?
It would just require a motion. Yeah, just an approval from the board.
I'll make a motion to approve the permit for the fire department to set off fireworks on July 4th.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to approve the permit for the Monroe City Area Fire Protection District to perform the annual fireworks display. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion second on the floor to approve the permit for the Monroe City Area Fire Protection District to perform the fireworks display this year. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Ayes have it, motion carries. Thank you.
I got a permit here that Rich had.
Okay,
Is just your signature on it.
good enough.
I can meet you tomorrow.
Bring it up.
Right
Bring it up now.
Okay.
Unless the board has an opposition to me doing that.
We just approved it.
Just approved it.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Guys.
Appreciate your help. Okay. Next on the agenda is new business. Okay, I see that library's down there. Okay. An ordinance repealing section 86.1, 6.34G and replacing it in the municipal code. Let the debate begin.
So I'll lead off. I have concerns about the ordinance. When I was I wrote it up the way Jeanette requested. It's in the packet. My concern is that it's going to expose the city to litigation because you're setting up a system where the council is going to be having to make determinations on these refunds based on numbers that aren't objectively quantifiable. So, I understand the car wash is going to lose money or water to evaporation and people driving off with water in it. But a lot of businesses in town lose money or lose water due to evaporation. So the issue I see is different businesses coming to the council, getting different results, and then filing lawsuits against the city. So I reached out to Missouri Municipal League about that concern. They agreed. They also brought up the fact that it could violate Article 6 of the Missouri Constitution because it's giving money to a certain group of people over other groups. So they would be if they get the this rebate money from the council. Other groups wouldn't get that. And then it's based on, what the council and future councils. I mean, you gotta remember, it's not just this council, it's future councils and the decisions they might make. And, I mean, municipal leagues answer what, their first question was, does your city have a sewer saver ordinance? And I said, well, yeah, that's the way it's written now. So their suggestion and kind of what I've been thinking is that, giving reductions based on numbers that can be quantified is fine. But we need to, but if we're gonna start giving reductions based on other numbers that can't really be quantified, then the city could be in a bad position. That's my take.
Well, as you know, I was in support of the changes to the ordinance, but after hearing John's comments, I can't probably move forward with this because I can't risk the city litigation on the part of the city in the future. And I'm also concerned what he said too about future councils.
Is there any questions or further debate we need to have on this?
I mean, I guess you've already asked. There was some mention before that they've done it in other places or something, but
Well, I asked Municipal League and they said no. I mean,
at least not in
they didn't know
Missouri.
anywhere in
Yeah, I
Missouri.
agree. And look, and I could not find a single ordinance, even in Arizona where it's dry, where they would have more evaporation here, but I don't want to.
And they brought up, businesses I hadn't really thought of, like, the nursing home, laundromats, even residences using their dryers. I mean,
Yeah.
the water that would go out in evaporation, putting future councils, having to make determinations on things like that. Because everybody loses some due to evaporation. I mean, y'all could do an across the board cut, say everybody pays 90% or something, but then you have to raise rates probably to pay for that service on the sewer.
Pointless.
But it's up to, I'm not the decision maker. It's up to you.
Well, I feel like we have you here for a reason. We should listen to you.
Yeah. When wasn't that the director of MML that came?
It was Stuart Hankins.
Yeah.
No, he's not the director.
And going against the Constitution is not exactly a smart move, I don't think.
Without a motion, we can't move forward. Okay, next thing we have are the council committee reports, planning and zoning. I do not see a representative of planning and zoning here.
We did not have any planning and zoning meetings. Yeah.
Are you the chairperson?
No, I am not the chair. I was the council representative on planning and zoning. Our chairperson
Is. So are.
I still am. Okay.
I won't clarify that.
Clarify. Yeah, you're right. I still am. Yes. I still am the chair, the council representative on it. But our who was our chair? It was
Gary.
But
Yeager.
Yeager.
Mr. Yeager. Mr.
Yeah.
Yeager.
Yeah. Is our chair.
Okay.
But yeah, we haven't had any zoning issues. Sorry.
next on the agenda is the Parks and Recreation Committee.
Do we have anyone here? I wasn't sure if they were going to make it because
I don't see any.
the date change kind of they passed along. Okay. One thing that we wanted to bring up is we have received the invoice for first part of some of the parks, the new equipment at North Park.
Okay.
And so we wanted to present the invoice for approval.
And the way this grant works, the city will pay the entire invoice up front, and then we would obtain our reimbursement from LWCN.
Okay, so this will not be part of the bills payable
It
process?
is not, no.
It's separate.
Yes.
Okay, so I do have a question, and this is for Greg. We still have additional, Rodney, I'm going to need your assistance. We still have additional work even after the installation relative to the building and the fencing. The fencing's not part of their process, is it?
Yes.
Yes? What about the building?
The bathroom?
Uh-huh.
No.
Okay. So I'm curious how that's going to be managed.
Are we
I guess
tracking
we'll,
that?
I guess
for
we'll get into
match?
that during one of the meetings.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll have to manage.
Okay, so what we need is a motion to approve the
And
invoice.
it's coming. It's $125,000.
Okay.
And this is for the basically for the equipment. It's and this is also so this is roughly half of it. The remaining, once they complete, will be $139,000 after this $125,000.
So you want to go ahead and make a motion to state the dollar amount?
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve the payment of the invoice to Hutchinson Recreation Design for the North Park project for $125,000.
Okay, I can't do that. Please, I apologize.
It should be in your
You
packet.
have one.
Yeah, okay, we have a motion on the floor to approve the $125,000 payment to Hutchinson Recreation Design for the North Park project. We have a second.
I'll second.
We have a motion second on the floor to approve the first invoice for the North Park project to Hutchinson Recreation Design, the amount of $125,000. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. The ayes have it, motion carries.
The other park business we discussed is kind of discussing projects that we would like to include in the budget for 2026. So several of those were discussed, and they kind of made a short list. And we're going to pursue a little bit of estimation for those to give information for the council to be able to make decisions in the budget for those. The major one was probably we're wanting to replace the basketball court at South Park.
Oh, that's a good idea.
The current one is in poor shape.
Yeah,
and so
that's a very good idea.
Like the actual.
Well,
net part.
no, the pavement and the net we do, as a whole project. The
Sure.
current pavement's in bad shape. There's alternatives we could like re-asphalt it again, but in short years it's not lasting very long. And so we're going to get an estimate for concrete for it. So
Good.
I mean, of course, we'll have to see at that point what the cost coming
Good. I'm pleased to hear that.
But I think the rest of it's mostly miscellaneous things other than that.
Okay. Does that conclude your report, sir?
That was my report.
All
Parks.
right. Interestingly enough, the next thing on the agenda is economic development. I think it'd be a really good time to have a very short discussion. And I'm going to lean on Alderman Quinn a little bit here. We don't have the Economic Development Committee anymore, and that was basically something that I did with you all were aware of it, that we did because we felt like if we have an economic development tax board, it would be duplication of effort. I attended a meeting this week along with Alderman Quinn and others. It was regard from Ms. Holtz at MCROTG, Mark Twain Regional Council of Governments, advising us of results of the most recent study, LMI study that, if I go into great length here, puts us in a position to take advantage of grants, not only for blighted properties, which someone might call, what do you call it?
Salmon bite.
Yeah. blighted properties, to have those removed if owners want to participate. It's a somewhat lengthy process. Also, because the LMI survey, we're also able to apply for grants relative to electric distribution and water treatment. Now, that's basically some information, but the question is do we need to have a economic development committee that is comprised of one or more board members and other citizen members that would report to this board of aldermen and be your liaison to the economic development tax board, and also perhaps under the best of circumstances participate in activities that are going to have to occur for us to be in a position to apply for the grants. It's just something you all can mull on and talk amongst yourself, and at the next meeting I'll bring it back up. And if that's something you all want to do, then we'll try to put together a committee. It's very difficult, and when I say it's very difficult, once I say this, I might get 50 volunteers, hopefully. But it's been very difficult to find citizen members that wanted to be on the boards and participate. And I kind of get it, you know. They have lives, families, jobs. I get it. But that's something I want you all to think about. Maybe at our next meeting, we put on the agenda to have a discussion about whether we should or should not have a economic development committee that reports to this board. So next thing on the agenda is the administration committee.
We did not meet.
Hmm?
We haven't met.
Awesome. Next thing will be operations.
Okay. Kind of a long one. We met this past Monday here. If everybody's got the first thing we discussed was the on utility policy for late fees. I never remember the guy's name from NPUA, that Dennis
Oh, this was my.
Kusmeyer said that we need to have our late fees be the same across the board, because right now they're 5% for residential and 10% for commercial, and we need to make them the same. So we had a motion and decided at 10% across the board to make that as a recommendation to the board, and it passed unanimously. So do we need to
Well, do you want to wait and do these?
do we want to do it all at once?
All at once, maybe?
Okay. The next thing would be the reactivation fee, to raise that to, currently it's $40 a meter, which a lot of times we're losing money on with our labor cost. And having surveyed other communities, having that at $80 per utility meter would be more on track. And quite frankly, we're not trying to punish people. We're trying to, because like George and Canton, they went from like 40 something to 80 or 75 or something, and they went from like 40 disconnects a month to like 4 or 5. So we're not trying to, it's just trying to save labor and save, headache. Did a motion on that, and that passed unanimously. And then as far as the actual disconnects, staying at the disconnects will take place on the 26th of the month after 9 a.m. with no further notice. If a customer has all utility services, the electricity and water will be disconnected. Disconnecting the gas service will take place on the second business day after the 26th. If a customer only has gas service, The gas service will be disconnected on the 26th without further notice.
Can you explain that? Why the, I mean, once again, we have a set date in the month of the 26th.
Mhm.
Was there discussion if the 26th was on a Saturday or Sunday?
I think we've got that in the current policy, or is it not? And it's just assumed, or?
Recently, where
No.
they were
That was
charged
in the
late fee.
previous policy where if the due date fell on a Saturday, Sunday.
Holiday.
That it would be due that.
You would get the next business day. That's not.
But that's right, we did change
I
that.
would assume that means.
This says it will be on the 26th, so I'm not sure if we should.
And that's the way it is now.
So it's written that it'll be done on the 26th, but the unwritten rule is that it happens on the next business day. If it happens to fall on.
No,
If it doesn't, if you,
we've had that
if
happen.
it happens, how it currently is, if you don't have your payment in before the 26th, if we're not open, we're still gonna charge you a late fee, is that correct?
Or no, we're not talking about the late fee, we're talking about disconnect.
Well, either way, I think it's that, but
So if we come in to work on the morning of the 26th, we will accept all those payments that we have. Anything after that would be subject to disconnection. If the 26th falls on a Sunday, well, the 26th falls on a Saturday, we come in on Monday morning, we would accept all those payments that we have in the after-hour box.
what about the ACHs that won't
We
process?
accept those too. Yeah, we do accept those, we can pull those off. And then anything after that would be subject for disconnection.
And if the 26th was a holiday, it would be the 27th.
It would be straight.
Same thing.
If the
That's
26th
business
is a
day.
holiday, then it'd be due first thing the 27th that morning.
Can we clean that up so it says that?
Well, and that's what I even said when I wrote these minutes.
Well, I
They're
think-
pretty cumbersome to me.
Yeah,
And so I
John
think
could probably
John's
figure out how
gonna
to
have
clean that up.
Because this looks like it's set in stone, that if, without.
Yeah, usually.
Well, I
after
mean-
next business day.
Yeah, I mentioned when I said something to him when I wrote the minutes even. that-
Yeah, I mean, you'll figure out a way to make that make more sense. Right?
Sure.
Okay.
I get paid the big bucks, John.
Like first business day on or after the 26th
Yeah,
or
I
something.
mean, that's how it works. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
if you work at a bank and you make a deposit on Saturday.
Right, it doesn't post till Monday, yeah.
I have a suggestion. These changes that the committee is recommending require modification to the existing ordinance.
Mhm.
Upon drafting a new ordinance, you'll have to have necessary meetings to review the content of the changes that are made to the existing ordinance. It seems to me that we ought to have at some very near meeting, if not tonight, get a consensus of board members, whether they are or are not going to be in favor of these changes, instead of waiting until it's drafted so we can have
Well,
that
that's kind of like, that's
discussion.
what we're doing right now, basically.
Well, but we haven't done anything. We haven't said that we're going to support anything. And I want to go on the record and remind the board, and please, with all respect, remind the board that the results of the LMI study, low and moderate income. Okay, we whether we like it or not, we have a population that upon survey qualifies this city for be classified as low and moderate income. But yet we're sitting here talking about doing something that is going to, and if I'm insulting anyone anywhere when I say it, it's not my intent. I'm trying to make a point. The people that pay these penalties, and generally the people that pay these penalties, whether they're late fees or disconnect fees or whatever they're called, they're the same people that qualified us for the LMI.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're typically not late because they choose to be, or they're
No,
lazy, or they forgot.
They just can't
They're
pay it.
Yeah, it's expensive.
Okay, they just can't pay it.
So I have a question on that, like, and I don't know if you have utilities in other towns or not, but like, we have a house in Columbia, and we happen to just, I don't know, change our debit card went bad or something. 2 months, I had electricity there without it being paid. 2 months, well, that was the water district, but I mean, like, we are very strict on our, I think we're very strict on our 10 days, cut you off. It's just me.
10 days, not much of a window. For some people,
It's very, very little. We would have to be like, I went and studied the other towns around us, and we definitely are the very, very minimum to come disconnect you.
when people are living check to check, and you're giving them, get their
And then
bill.
they have to pay $300 on top of that to get it turned back on.
Well,
They
most-
couldn't pay the bill in the first place.
Right. Most of those have gone ahead and gotten deposits on their account at this point. But I mean, technically though, the bill is due upon receipt. So technically there's 26 days from the time it's quote due to the time of disconnect.
Well, I want to go on record. I'm not in favor of this reconnect fee doubling. I understand there's labor involved. There's
Right, because it's
I know.
costing us more than $40 to do it.
If a person has, or a household has a deposit in place and they're late, and we absorb their deposit, do they have to reissue another one?
They would, however, most of the time, we are not going to apply that deposit. Especially if we know they haven't left town, for sure, we're not gonna apply that deposit. If it is a repeat offender, we might possibly apply that deposit.
But the deposit's gonna come off the bill.
It would come off their bill, yeah.
So, I mean, it's.
And you know, when you all were talking about, you know, the results of the LMI, I understand that we are a LMI community. But if you all would entertain looking at our disconnect notice month after month and see the people on there, maybe, I don't know, I don't know if that would be something you'd want to look at, and you could just see time after time,
We do have a lot, I know you guys said.
Like a photocopy.
That's where the discussion was, and it's not,
It's
not
like
understanding
people-
of the.
And I don't understand why they play that game even if they are short on money, because
And
it
you know, a lot of
costs you
this-
more to do
It
that.
does, and a
Yeah.
lot of these people, for whatever reason, when they come in and pay, they know they're late, they'll pay those reconnect fees and go on. So
And we've had people that have never missed a payment in 2 years, and all of a sudden they do. And it may cost $80 to go out there and turn the water back on. It may cost $80 to go out there and turn the gas on and go in the house and meet with the homeowner and relight that. But it takes, in most cases, a keystroke on electric. So I don't think you should have it on electric. It's not $80.
Did we have a discussion the last time we had a big ordinance change that we needed to practice at first to see if it worked? Did we talk about that?
See, that happened right as we were coming in.
Mm-hmm.
So if this was in the
Yeah.
discussion, and then it kind of got laid in our laps, like, here you go. And so
You're right, Lori.
there's a lot in there.
There's a lot
We
in
may
that
have
ordinance.
agreed to,
Yeah.
and we were not knowledgeable enough.
I mean, John, what do you think about not having the fees be the same on each meter?
I think it'll be fine. I mean, it's different, like Ronnie said.
Yeah, because there's not as much involved.
Each meter is a different process.
Yeah, not all the meters are electronic. And I mean, sometimes you click it and it doesn't work. And you still have to go out there and, you know.
Gas service, of course, that's the service that takes the longest to reestablish your customer. Once it's off, you know, our technician has to go in the house, check everything for leaks.
And two, don't they have to go in as a buddy system on the gas to relight,
Yes. You have to go in the house and make sure.
but it takes two people have to
Two
go.
employees.
I don't know
Is that correct?
I don't know that.
Or is this made that up? Okay.
I don't know. I could be well. I seem to recall talking to either Scott or Adam or even Terry. One person goes in, knocks on the door, they turn the gas off to make sure everything is lit. There's no gas leaks, and then they leave.
So we could reevaluate these.
Yeah, I mean, it's not set in stone. It was just, we're
So,
trying to, make things easier.
let's.
Well, because we certainly want to continue with the number of disconnects.
Yeah, I mean, especially with it being the exact same people month after month.
But
People are. There's always going to be people that game the system, and
Right.
the problem is if you put those penalties, if you want to call it that, in place to discourage them, those penalties affect everyone.
And obviously,
And I don't have the right answer. Okay.
obviously those penalties aren't discouraging them if
What
they're on
about a
the
tier
list
system?
every night or every
That might be more of a pain.
I agree. It's just I'm just.
I don't like that idea, but I don't know. if
How hard
we
would it
can
be to
manage
implement
it,
it?
yeah.
I know you just did it.
Like the first time you
Well,
disconnect.
We have one
there's a lot
conversation.
of questions, there is a lot of questions, but at the end
Your
of the
credit card
day,
do that.
the majority of the people pay their utility bills, they pay them on time. The ones that are the pain point is the repeat offenders, without the lack of better words. But in the instances where it would be somebody under extreme circumstance that could not do it that 1 month, the repercussions of that.
So why don't you guys see if you can come up with something that is basically addresses that specifically.
Okay.
And if you have a history of, whatever, it might be 3 times in a row, this many times over the last 12 months, can you separate out those customers and not run into the same issue?
Like a first offense, second offense type thing?
I mean, your credit card company can do it.
Yeah,
The interest
if I paid my bill for 4 years, 2 years, 5 years, whatever, and had no late
Yeah.
payments, and then something happened, I don't know what, it was attached to the wrong debit card or whatever, and it didn't pay, then
We're gonna reach out to you. We would.
I wanna be-
If you're
We're just trying to get the ball rolling on
If
on
you're a
how to
customer
fix
that always
this.
pays, always on time, and we see you haven't paid your bill, we're gonna reach out to you because we know there's an issue.
And I mean, the people that don't pay every month, they're costing everyone else money. If we have to go out and do all these, and we're not getting the full amount. If as they're saying, if it's costing us more to do the reconnects and everything than we're getting.
I'd like
the
to
people
see
that
I'd
pay
like
us,
to see some
yeah.
data. I'd like to see some data where if we could show that this is the amount of time at our standard labor rate for that department to drive to, disconnect, reconnect, whatever it might be of any of these, that's a totally different way of looking at things.
What the average time is per meter.
Versus, what's our standard cost? And of course, you cost it as in the middle, all the way on the edge of town in any direction. I would be more inclined to recommend something that utilized that cost model versus what I'm, in my mind, is the penalty model.
I guess the other thing that kind of concerns me too, this late fee, because commercial was at 10 and residential was at 5, is that right?
Mhm.
We made residential go up to commercial. Why didn't commercial come
Go to
down
5.
to residential?
Yeah, I agree.
Because that would be half of what any other agency in the area is.
What?
We'd be half of what everybody else was.
5% is low
Is ha-
considering
yeah.
other communities. We can get that information too.
Well, I don't know how many
I would
times
be
I've been.
curious to know what our policy is compared to.
Didn't you do a survey?
We did.
Did it have that data in it?
I'll have to look back at it, but I did do some information.
Yeah, maybe
It's on
if we
rates.
had that, if you get that to me, maybe I can, just double check and make sure nothing's changed or, yeah.
You still have copies of the policies when we first did this in the other communities.
From when?
When we first,
Can't really.
we looked at several, yeah, we did compare. There you go.
Yeah.
We worked pretty hard on it and it was, that's fair.
Sounds like you got some homework to do.
Revisit that.
I'd be, like on a credit card, if you've never been late and you call and, oh, it got lost in the mail, surprise, surprise, they'll waive that. But if you've been late every month for the last 10 years, they're gonna say, too bad, so sad.
However, everything you said is true. I agree with everything you said. But unless we have a policy that says we will call you,
Because we
it
said we're
doesn't-
not.
It doesn't amount to anything. It's not good. You have to have it has to be written. That process needs to be written.
That we have to
In-
call them? to be
Yes,
able to
Either
waive
we
if that's
it?
what we're gonna
do
say,
one or we
if
don't
that's
do
what we're saying we do in order to protect our customers like
Right,
Lori, who
otherwise
was
people say-
vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you called so-and-so, but you didn't call.
Well,
them.
Right.
If it's not written, it
But
didn't
then you
happen.
said you do call people, and you're trying to do that as a service, but like you get somebody that says, well, you didn't call me.
Yeah,
Well,
you're just trying to do
Even if
like
you did
the
call
thing,
them and like leave a message,
sometimes it doesn't
you
work.
know, oh, I never got that call.
Or their phone's disconnected.
there, we don't have the right phone number
Okay,
for
so
them, but if
sounds
we
like-
made the attempt and we documented when we made that attempt, would that be enough to satisfy?
Well, I don't know, guys, whether we need to have a meeting of the board of the whole on this, or you guys need to go back and have another meeting, come back with some more ID where we can get consensus on. I'll leave that to you. But I'd like to go ahead and continue this meeting and move forward.
We do need to do.
I mean, John, if we make it a policy in writing that we call people and 80%, 70% of the people don't have good numbers and we call them and we
I would
document.
say.
That's their issue.
I mean, maybe going back to Marine Corps style, but have a logbook and write down.
Yeah.
Who you call them in and say you're documenting it.
And our attempt is one call. I mean, because we can't keep
And
trying to
that,
call them
The
10
thing is,
times.
we can talk about this.
Yeah.
We can talk about this later because that's a heck of a burden on them.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It needs to be something simple. And would it be,
Let's just have another meeting.
let's just do another meeting so we can get this one going forward.
Because you need to clean up, do the city-wide cleanup.
Yeah.
All right, next thing on the
Hold on, hold on.
agenda.
Wait a minute. Yeah.
There's-
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay, so what we got here? Go ahead.
so let's do
City
the,
Really, the only thing.
well, I want to talk to you about the 21-day thing too. But okay, citywide cleanup. Okay, here, what about budget?
Just,
Right now, our current policy is that if they have a negative or that they owe us money at the end of the budget billing term, they don't true up, they don't pay that off. We roll it into the next 12 months, which is basically financing it free. We're carrying their balance for nothing.
What about the flip side?
yeah, well, if we have percent on their money.
Yeah, you do have that scenarios too.
Yeah, that can happen too. I've got the list here somewhere.
But there's something else we also have to consider with the budgeting as it stands right now is gonna have to end with this new system. The new system will not support it.
We did get clarification
Yeah.
on them when we talked to
It
them.
will?
We
It
did-
will.
It will.
Oh, that's good.
But I'm just-
We won't be, we do our sign up for budget billing November 1. So, and that's gonna affect their new budget year because we won't go live with utility billing until next quarter, second quarter next year. So it would affect their budget billing for that period of time. But we
That's
can't
better.
do the budget billing.
I was just thinking about, discussing if we should have them true up at the end of the term.
I would say if you're gonna have a separate utility policy, meeting or
Let's just-
something, just
Let's keep that there.
do it all.
Same plan for now.
My question, I guess, is would you guys be willing to say, hey, they need to true up?
Not if you're letting other people not true, I mean, not if you're using, if other people aren't being refunded for the overage.
Well, what they do with the credit is they adjust the future payment lower to account for that credit.
So then why would somebody not want to increase their next one to accommodate that?
You do, you increase their,
You
if
increase
you're in
their monthly
arrears,
minimum.
if you're in arrears, my understanding, and that, correct me if I'm wrong, if you're in arrears, they adjust your payment plan going forward to cover that, plus the expected, cost for utilities for the next 12 months.
Overall,
Yeah.
I guess the question for me, from a city standpoint, is overall, are we ahead or behind on this, on the budget bill? Like, if you total it all up.
Oh, that's a good question, Rick.
It was just one sheet.
Because I had kind of mixed ideas, because on the one hand, like I said, I don't necessarily think we should finance a lot of people over 12 months, because the bills. But on the other hand, the whole point of like budget billing is like you have these kind of consistent
That's okay.
payments.
I could print the report and send it out to you all.
If they have to make a big
Can we-
payment at the end of the year, that sort of defeats some of the purpose.
there is
I got it
something
right
we did
here.
talk about, because there are a couple that are extremely high where the rates have changed or something has changed in the household. Do we meet them midway 6 months and say, hey, this,
That's what I'm wondering if there's something,
Yeah.
because I'd be more interested in some kind of process where we don't let them get too far behind. Like if you get this far behind, then we have to do it.
So, right here, we're showing negative, so
So right now, we're showing negative, and once again, back to your comment about
we're sitting on.
the rate changes,
We should be.
we raised the rates and
Someone
then,
should.
like, things didn't catch up.
I
Yeah.
tried to.
Yeah, we are showing.
Well, the
negative.
electric heat, yeah, through
Okay,
that.
can we discuss all this utility stuff in a special meeting?
Yeah, I was just trying to get a consensus, general consensus of whether
We
we should
can
even
do that.
discuss
We'll
it.
have a lot more questions than I anticipated.
Citywide cleanup is something we probably can vote on tonight,
Yeah.
so we get that moving.
Citywide cleanup, your pricing is in front of you. I did call Cedar Ridge, and that is only for a 15-yard dumpster. The rest are for 20s. So that makes it a pretty obvious choice.
Sure does.
Merkel's is actually $670. They went up $10 from the previous year, but that still keeps them at the cheapest rate.
So this should be corrected to 670.
Yes. And I was proposing to do the same thing we did last year, 2 dumpsters at a time, up to a maximum of 6. And for the dates to have July 7th to 18th, have it at the city barn in the parking lot.
Purple Wave is still going on till the July 8th.
Would you rather have it after they get that cleaned up?
How much longer after that would you need?
I'm hoping we can clear out of there. Or I can move the stuff.
Well, we want to make it work well you guys have to be involved with this.
Yeah.
Kind of like keep an eye
Well,
on
once that sale's over,
It ends on the 8th,
right.
Purple does, but
Yeah,
that's the
it seems
question.
like I read that, it's pretty short lately.
Yeah,
Want to move it out a week?
Do one in.
Just move it back a week.
push it up a week.
Back or forward, however you want to do it.
Back.
Well, they said not to do it over the 4th of July weekend,
Back.
because that's a busy
Oh.
week.
Move it back.
so July 14th through whatever.
So the 14th to,
25th.
But we got the stuff lined
14th
up.
through the 25th?
Yeah.
yeah, that would be 2 weeks.
Do we need a motion to?
Yeah, we have a recommendation from the Operations Committee to supply the dumpsters, a maximum of 6, 2 at a time, through 7/14 through 7/25. So we need a motion to approve that expense will be $670 per dumpster.
I'll make a motion to approve that we obtain those dumpsters from Merkel's for the citywide cleanup.
Okay, have a motion on the floor to approve the recommendation from the Operations Committee for the dumpsters. We have a second.
Second.
We have a motion second on the floor to approve the recommendation from the Operations Committee on the dumpsters. All in favor say aye. All opposed say nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries.
Okay, what's the plan? Are we gonna have a special council to discuss this, or are we
I
gonna shoot
think,
back to committee?
I think that what we should do is go ahead and
Probably do another operations meeting.
Have another
to get all
operations
our
meeting.
information together.
let them review it all.
Will you let all the
that
council
spreadsheet.
members know, because I'd like to come?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Are we gonna discuss the last thing?
That sounds like
Absolutely.
another ordinance thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are we
Can
gonna
we
discuss
discuss
that?
it now, or?
Sure.
That's an ordinance thing, Brian.
Excuse
I
me.
mean, that's, would be.
It would be
I
adjusted.
guess my
It's
question would
different,
be,
isn't it?
are the chicken, so our ordinance, and Zach can correct me if I'm wrong, but we allow chickens, but they gotta be in cages. So is that going away?
Mm-hmm. That's the plan.
Okay.
Not completely, no.
If they're grandfathered.
If they're grandfathered in, no, they keep what they have.
How you gonna,
But they
how you
can't
gonna
replace
monitor
that.
that?
Yeah,
Who's gonna
We
monitor?
haven't crossed that bridge yet.
And then-
I'll note
I'm
that
just
you'll.
gonna share a story, I don't wanna waste everybody's time, but before I was even city attorney, one time I was here in the city court with Judge Wilson. There was a ticket for chickens, and I won't name names, but the owner just started laughing and said, well, anybody can come try to catch them. And it was like, okay.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Well, one of the things that Chief Zach brought up was the fact that it's drawing in coyotes into town.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and coyotes and chickens are not a good mix.
I bet you.
So with the egg prices going up, that's increased, so.
Okay, so your committee report contained a recommendation to the board to amend that current ordinance. So do we need to, how do we need to?
I think we need to revisit this because there was something else that I remembered and I didn't catch this. Because I thought we also took in consideration that if they were gonna have chickens, that is it 2 chickens per person per household?
Oh, good God.
Well, there's a
I
state,
think that's what
Zach was saying that, there's a state statute
Oh
that
my
says
There's a state
6.
statute that says that. So if somebody's got 500, then that's just way too many. Granted, I'm not gonna go out
So
and
you're
get.
not running a commercial egg operation?
Well, and that's it. Well, and that came up in the conversation, how,
There are people that are selling them in town.
if it's a,
But,
Yeah, but
I
I mean,
don't
there's a
have
difference
time to
between
worry
that
about
and like
it.
this big chicken house.
Well, yeah.
You know.
yeah.
it's the chickens running around loose that everybody's dodging on Main Street that's the problem.
I
And
almost hit one yesterday and I swerved and I was driving a car.
Drive one of them chicken houses. It could be, I mean, there's been a lot of state stuff over it. I mean, there's a state law that prevents homeowners associations from banning chickens, and there's, and I don't know if the stories are true or not, but I heard that one of our state legislatures started out running for council in Columbia, Missouri, because they wouldn't let him have chickens, and that's the start of his political career. So I
Great
know
way to
that
recruit
you
council
might stir
members.
up some.
so we need
issues
to
there.
revisit this for
I
sure.
just,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, full disclosure, I have some chickens in my backyard.
No, that's
I haven't had
okay.
any complaints on that.
I'm surrounded by them. I just don't like being on Main Street. I am concerned about the coyote issue.
Yeah,
Cats and other stuff getting.
Mice,
coyotes too,
coyotes, yeah, they like coyotes.
There's some problems in some places, but
So a bear, but,
yeah.
okay.
Anyway, I think
Are
there's.
we
Kicking it back.
through
We're gonna
discussing
we're gonna revisit that.
We're gonna revisit that. We're just gonna revisit it.
Put Powell on the agenda for another meeting.
Yeah, can we go ahead and schedule one while we're on this topic?
Please, please
I'd like
do.
to be there.
And I would invite everybody, got please.
We'll come. Sounds like a good time.
24th,
20
24th of June.
works for me.
Anybody?
I can do the 24th, yes.
I can.
Six.
24th is good.
Jason? Yes? Okay.
Jason.
All right, 24th at 6.
6 p.m.
And I'll send a text reminder the day before too.
This time I'll try.
Well, it was so funny because you're the only one that replied
And then I
and
didn't.
didn't show up.
I got so many, I had Parks and.
That's why I figured
moved
you
up
had
this
other
meeting,
stuff.
Anyway,
No,
sorry, I'm in.
no,
Okay.
Okay, that's all I had.
No more foul. Okay, moving right along, department reports. First on the agenda is the police department, please. Okay, next on the agenda is water. George is not here.
Dang it.
See anyone representing those guys tonight?
I
Go
wish
ahead.
George was here.
He's having a funeral.
In the
Oh,
death of the family.
Because I had a concern about
Go
the
ahead.
numbers.
Go ahead.
On the 11, and it's like the spreadsheet, this one, on
Water
the,
loss is horrible.
on wastewater, here it is. Okay, on our oil and grease average, our permit limits us to 10. May of 24, we were less than 5. April of 25, we were 2. And in May, we're at 10 at our limit.
That's why he suspended it, I think.
No, they're still taking it.
That's not according to his report.
And then the other thing is the one below that. We're actually over our limits
We're at, on the zinc, copper.
but that went from like less than 3, less than 2.5, and it jumped. So I don't know if something happened that they know what happened that caused that, but it has been resolved or what. But because that's a big jump.
Which line?
He's
On
under the
the,
oil and grease at the bottom.
Under metals, the total copper outreach.
And the zinc, too.
And the zinc.
I think the other thing we should be concerned about is this unaccountable water.
Yeah, that is
We're
huge.
at 48.62 water loss that we can't account for in May. And it's been 25, 30, then it jumped to 39, now it's at 48.
Which is equivalent of 5.6 million gallons. I mean, that's not something.
Even at 39%,
Does this
that's
even
high.
seem possible?
No,
I know,
it
I know.
doesn't.
I mean, there's some logic involved.
And
here.
you would think you
Where
had that
something
big of
should
a
be
leak, you would
floating.
see it.
I know one thing he's come, but that seems like even future for this. One thing he's commented before about is that you have like differences on when certain things are added in versus when they
Billion,
bill, and versus when it
But
shows
almost-
up on his report.
but almost.
But 58%, 48% is even a lot for that. That was like, I think explaining some of those like 20%
It
variations.
sounds like we
Right.
need to have some discussions with
Yeah.
people services on that and find out what information they can provide to us to determine what steps, if any, need to be taken.
Yeah.
Because I agree that is a tremendous amount of loss.
And I know it might, and maybe it's a lot harder even than I expect, but I wonder if they could give us a little bit better estimates on some of the stuff, like knowing like, okay, yeah, we don't take this reading until a week after,
And it could
but if they could
fluctuate
give us
this
sort of
much.
an estimated number, it's probably.
Maybe there's a different way of doing it that will give us more accurate numbers.
Yeah.
Maybe it's updating equipment. I don't know. I'm not qualified to answer those questions, but certainly don't.
Or nailing down a more specific date of when we typically read meters to where it would be more accurate.
Yeah, I agree. So it sounds like we need to have a discussion with them
Yeah.
regarding that. If the board doesn't mind, I'll go ahead and move on
Yes,
to
please.
electric. First, I'd like to introduce Mr. Justin Turner. He is our new electric department supervisor. He has,
I'm Justin.
Justin,
Everybody,
nice to
thank
meet
you
you.
for
come on up, Justin, make yourself
the opportunity.
available here for them to ask any questions. Come on up and talk to me, man.
Yeah, if you have any questions, I made a basic outline. I know I've only been here a week, but I made an outline of what I'd like to see in the short term and long term.
Okay.
Perfect.
Well,
Great.
Has to do with spending money, so.
That's my job.
So, please ask questions, and I'm happy to answer why we need budget items, money for this, for these reasons.
Great. Thank you for
Thank you.
coming on.
Yes, thank you for coming.
He has a couple of decades of experience, and he comes out your recommendation, and I certainly have very high expectations. He and I've had several talks and on tour of the city. I sleep better at night. He may not, but I sleep. And many phone calls the chief gets whenever we have an electric problem. I'm sure he's happy too. Okay, moving right along, natural gas. I don't see a representative here. Street Department, Mr. Rodney Osborne, please grace us with your presence.
I just got one big thing here. I think y'all got a copy of it. It's the estimate for the sweeper, the four sweepers sick.
I don't see one.
I have something I want to say about, but I can't say it.
The sweeper is sick.
And it's sick.
What's
Does it
the
need some Tylenol?
Usually the second motor will fire right up, but the other day
You'll get your chance.
something
I'll get my
wrong with this
chance
thing. Then it was rattling and stuff, so I had Mr. Painter look at it. He works on a lot of our stuff. We determined it was an output bearing and shaft. And this is a major deal here.
So you curbed it, you broke it, now you want to fix
Well,
it.
yeah. But what's funny, but in the book we found rarely ever happens. And then here it is.
What cost?
So I got a question. Is there a mileage on there or is there hours used?
I got both.
I have both.
I want to know because that's where every Monday, remember we saying this before? I don't know how many times it used to pass by my house just for.
3,000 miles, 902 hours. That's what's on it. It's a 2017. Now, this thing that we're dealing with is pretty major.
Some miles, 900 hours.
902 hours. I had to
You
look.
can't sweep the street.
Look
very
at
fast.
the book and figure out where
Monday.
I found it. But anyway, Mondays, you like that on Mondays?
No.
I do like we used to do in the old days, about 2 o'clock in the morning.
You know what? It's not.
Done that
This
long.
is something else I'll tell you
Fewer
about.
cars on the street.
Okay. But anyway, it had this noise and a heck of a vibration. So Kevin looked at it. He said, "Oh, what?" So anyway, I called the company and talked to John Elliott Supply. Closest one is in Greenville, up there by Kansas City. I said, "You got it anywhere any closer?" Nope.
It's probably a pretty heavy part too.
Yeah, well, for them to put it in and stuff, is what this is, and we'd have to take it there. And that thing floored. I went out to South Lake because I knew it wouldn't do much.
About 2 miles an hour.
No, it'd do 55, but I pedaled to the motor. And I was moving.
Did
So
it shake,
this is
shake,
what it
rattle,
is.
and
I
roll?
wasn't take off.
What about putting it on a trailer?
Yeah, there you go. I ain't got no estimate.
So we'll have to transport it down there, get it repaired, transport it back, and put it back in.
Well, I went out to JC's. And I said, "Y'all want to look at it?" "Yeah, bring it out." So I looked at it. No. They said, "We can do it, but this is time consuming and we don't know how to do the quote because, they don't know
It'd be time,
They don't know how long it's going to take. They don't know the parts, how much they are
materials.
compared to a
It'd be
rear end
foreign
on
to
something
them.
or something. They fix all the time. They can rattle. Now this guy, Elliot,
He knows what it
he
is.
emailed me nothing flat. He said sometimes them shafts are easy to come out, and sometimes they're not. So I'm hoping. He said it might be a little cheaper, might be a little higher. So,
Did he say when he could get it in for it?
no, I didn't get that far. But he's real easy to talk to and stuff. So,
So we only have one quote.
but I got to fire that back motor up like out to JC's.
Oh,
Raise it
have
up.
that one.
Yeah, you do. It's probably behind.
Yeah, something doesn't go wrong.
So is it fair to say this is a very specialized piece of equipment? Getting
Yes.
multiple quotes would be probably quite difficult to do.
Yes.
4,800.
Okay.
Because Kevin would like to do it, but I knew when that thing, something goes wrong with it.
It'd be over his head, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, especially if they have problems getting them out sometimes.
He said that sometimes they come easy, sometimes not so easy.
So because it's specialized, do we only need one quote or do we need two? Do we need more than one? Yes,
I hate it.
one.
This is just a quote for the repairs on it.
That's
not
just-
hauling it out there.
No, yeah, right, that's just a quote, I totally understand, higher or lower, I know what a quote is. But,
And it does say on there, customer.
Right, yeah, I read it. Yeah. But they said once in a while, I was reading in the book, once in a while, eventually you're gonna have to replace it. I know anything goes wrong with this.
So what do you need the council to approve, you to move forward on this?
Yeah, because I don't know if nobody else, I tried to see, I talked to Kevin, Tanner. I just.
Yeah, it's just such a
So,
specialty.
It's special,
He went to 3 places. He got 2 no quotes.
Yeah.
Jason's a no
Yeah.
quote.
Yeah, that's true.
Kevin Painter is a no quote, and he's got an actual quote. So he's actually
That's good.
did.
Minus 3 quotes. I make a motion that we approve this quote for repair of the street sweeper.
We have a motion on the floor to approve the repair of the street sweeper utilizing as a baseline the estimate from Elliott Equipment Company. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion second on the floor to approve the repair of the street sweeper utilizing an Elliott Equipment Company based upon their quote estimate. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries.
Do we have to make a motion to approve the quotes to get transportation out there for said street sweeper?
What's your options?
Drive it or haul it.
Well, the
it
problem if
probably
you drive it, then you have to have somebody
55 mile an
get you
hour.
back though.
That's an accident waiting to happen.
Yeah.
I was looking for the speed control, I think my foot fell off where I go to Paris. Before I take it
So,
there.
Well, you have to
do we
spend so
have,
much time driving it too.
do we have a trailer?
Two
We have a big trailer, do we not?
Yes, we got a 20-foot trailer.
How big is
It's
it?
pretty tall.
Like, as a winter will fit on?
Oh.
Is this something we ought to
Do we
like
have to
contact like Roberts, because they're used to handling?
Why don't you get a quote from Roberts?
Yeah,
And,
I thought I'd start with this, and I got thinking, wonder if I could drive that, so I took that side light. I didn't think that thing went too
I
fast.
would have given anything to see you drive that down the interstate going to Kansas City.
I wanna be on 70.
You would be on the news.
Cruise control, because my foot smashed, it stick.
break down on the way.
Street sweeper on Highway 70.
We'd have to bolt, we'd have to fasten the undercarriage up, where it drop it down the sweep. Because I'm sure that would leak down, I'd be sparking pretty good
Yeah.
shot.
Yeah, that's
See if
not.
you
All right.
can figure
That
out.
would take 2 people to Kansas City, probably.
Yeah.
I mean.
Well, I mean, like I said, if we come back and the quotes are lower, I mean, discuss those else, but try to find, I think transportation is probably the best option. But
What did we decide?
Yeah,
We need to come back
especially
with a quote
Yes, for
Or
transportation.
just reach out to Roberts and see what.
See what
But I
they
don't
say.
think we really have a choice, do we?
No,
No,
it just comes down to finding 3 people and getting him picking the best one. I think he's ought to give him permission to do that.
I've got the guy that brought my van in,
yeah.
and he contracts with Amazon too. The guy that brought my van from Amazon.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you never know.
3 quotes, yeah, I mean.
I'll make a motion to ask you to get 3 quotes, pick the lowest, most qualified bidder.
And insured.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Lowest and most qualified.
if they lose it, we'll get it out and fight about it.
Okay, so I'm struggling here.
For the
Do
transportation.
we need a motion?
Well, if you're gonna supersede the board making a decision based on 3 quotes, and you're gonna authorize him to make a decision on 3 quotes, yes. In my
True,
opinion. In
yeah,
my
that's a
opinion.
good point.
So a motion
Yeah.
on the floor to authorize Rodney Osborne to obtain 3 quotes and to determine the best quote, and then issue a purchase order for transportation of the street sweeper to the repair facility. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion second on the floor. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries.
I think all this is that like keels you over or something by how it.
If it's more than the machine is worth.
120,000 brand new.
Oh, well then.
Only,
Oh, heck.
And that's a small
And that's a used
That's
one.
like
they
the ones
demo
they have in
was
the grocery
240.
store.
Okay, moving on.
all right, moving right along. Building inspector has given us a report to review. Bob?
You wanna come up, Bobby?
Most of these people
I've
do
never met
not know
him.
I've
who
only
you
met him
are.
once.
I've never seen him in my life.
My name's Bob Altizer. I've met most of you. Just the last couple of weeks in review, I've issued several fence permits just to ensure that citizens are in compliance with utilities and certain ordinances. We've got a demolition permit out on 312 Catherine. That's going to be coming down here in probably the next couple of weeks. Got a building project with the high school for a new weight room that's being drafted right now. That's really all there is to report. Just there's a few other building projects going on in the city. So.
Anything worthwhile?
We've got Tim Hamlin down on Main Street doing a little addition, and then Dennis Murphy over in 4D putting a garage in. That's about it right now.
I
Oh, and
just
then Tommy
noticed-
Bach on Oak Street.
Notice Sinclair's adding on.
That's the handling.
Oh, okay.
Yep, so he's moving right along with that.
Cool.
That's about it. So if anybody needs me, they just give me a call or send me an email.
So these houses that you mentioned that are in disrepair and not currently occupied, the mayor and I talked briefly last time just about a grant
Oh, yeah.
that maybe we can utilize, but it will probably involve, you helping us certify that they're not meeting health and safety requirements or something like that. So there's several.
These are occupied.
Several. Well, we couldn't.
There are a few.
Have you made any progress on any unoccupied?
I was asked to check one out the other day. I won't say the address.
Okay.
But I wasn't able to make contact.
Okay.
The occupied ones, I'm not sure there's much we can do, is there?
Well, I'm talking about the
That's-
unoccupied.
Oh, unoccupied.
Unoccupied.
Yeah.
I haven't really made any progress on pursuing those yet.
And I know they've had a couple of times they went through in the last few years and had sent out informational letters about like some of the grants and doing them. And we did it once several years ago when I was on the council. But I know there's been interest and there were people signed up, with houses that had agreed to like make the payment and.
And then the
But we
grant
couldn't,
fell
but the
through.
grants, we didn't get the grants, but if we
But
get
we
the
could,
grants.
we just already gave it back. The CDBG grant does not require the city to have an audit anymore. So now we are.
That's a new thing. That's
Very
cool.
new, like just happened, that we just, that's what we met with.
Yeah.
So at a future meeting, this board is going to have to make a decision, correct, Lori, on the project the board wants to pursue utilizing a grant from them. I get confused on all the
Alphabet.
various acronyms. So we'll have to do that. Decide what do we want to do. We want to do buy properties. We want to do something different, and we'll get into that at another time. Anything else?
That's all.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Bob.
Wait, do you have a running list of the properties?
Oh,
Yes, there is one.
Okay,
That's all I need to know. I did a drive around town and just snapped a couple extra pictures, and I'm sure they're on this list, but I just wanted to know.
There's a lot.
Yes, there is. Okay, sorry.
No, you're fine. The next thing we have is the airport, and I apologize. I'm having a difficult time finding information. However, I can tell you they did purchase fuel. They received a call from their jobber, I guess that's the right name to call them, and in anticipation of a significant increase in the price of aviation fuel, I was contacted and asked if it would be okay to go ahead and order that fuel. And we purchased 7,500 gallons at a price of $3.92 per gallon to put into that tank. And We
Is
took
that-
advantage of a window.
Is that
and
higher or lower than our last cost? Do you know?
I actually think last time it was over $4 a
Yeah,
gallon, but
so
I
that
can't,
seems
Mike, I
cheaper.
don't have it. Excuse me. Alderman Snyder, I do not know that number.
Sound like a
believe
good
it's
number. Sounds lower.
Significantly
What
lower.
was the purchase price per gallon?
$3.90.
Hold on.
Is that delivery and everything?
Yes. Well, that was my understanding. 392. 7,500 gallons. That was the price that was quoted at. It may be a little lower or a little slightly higher because it's like the spot market. That was what they quoted. By the time that we executed, it may have gone up, it may have gone down. It's very close to that number.
I expect that was a very smart move.
Well, it's a very volatile. Normally we would have that discussion here. However, we felt that based upon previous history, the board typically approves that purchase historically. It's in the dollars are in the budget,
As I say, he's in great shape in the budget.
so went ahead and executed.
When there's not very many vendors that even
No,
carry it.
No.
That's the other thing. And it's coming from Texas even, I think.
Well, we were kind of planning on doing it. They were just
It
kind
was
of waiting until
timing.
they got the amounts that he could like order.
Right,
It was
full
timing
load.
versus load,
Yeah.
not at the end.
Without having to split it with another airport,
Yeah.
we've done that before too.
Yep.
Hold on one second, I apologize.
And with current events, who knows what the price is.
All right, next thing we have is,
On the airport, the campsite's gonna do.
Mhm.
right,
Thank
it
you
looks
very
nice.
much.
Yeah.
It looks
Thank
nice.
Maybe did when he already got his burn thing out
Well,
there.
if they have as much interest as I hope that they do have, maybe someday in the future a future board will approve a small pavilion out there. Who knows? We'll see what happens. Mosswood. Anything from Mosswood? I know they requested reimbursement for chemicals.
Yeah.
That's just part of the process.
Yeah, that's already.
All right. Pool. Okay.
Oh, I do have one thing. After you all approved the purchase of that chair, April went to order it and they no longer stocked it. But
Oh,
she did find another one that was even cheaper. How much cheaper?
Oh, okay.
There you go, thank you very much.
Yeah, bonus.
Win-win.
And it's came in already.
Every once in a while,
Or part of that came in.
prices
Yeah.
go down.
That's good.
All right. Being no further discussion on pool, next on the agenda is presentation of bills and approval of payments under 12, tab 12.
It's probably been the lowest accounts payable dollar amount I've seen in a long time.
Yeah. Only question I had is
Well,
like,
if you see the second page.
I did see those,
Hey, page 2 will give you a sticker shock.
but those are like,
well, but those are,
And MIRMA, MPUA, credit card, yeah.
boy, on Ricketts,
And that's the annual MIRMA payment, am I correct?
That's correct.
And next year, it'll go down a little bit. The rating, how would you call it, the calendar rating.
oh, that's right.
Next year, we'll see a reduction vis-a-vis the fire department,
oh, yeah,
okay?
yeah.
And then any improvements that our various departments have made relative to their safety audits will also show up on the next annual fee.
And as long as we keep our losses down, that will help too. Yeah.
I have a quick question, because I didn't know it until we talked about it the other night. The agreement we have with Campbell's right now in the police department, does that extend to the next?
Owner.
We haven't really reached out to the new owner. I don't know when that transition takes place though,
Okay,
but we will reach out to them.
okay. I make a motion to approve the accounts payable from June 18th, 2025.
One second.
We have a motion second on the floor to approve accounts payable June 18th, 2025. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. The ayes have it,
What
motion
was the
carries.
Ricketts?
I'm sorry.
What was the Ricketts?
Dog food for the dog
Dog
pound.
food and some chemical.
Oh, admin. That falls under admin, the dog pound. Falls under.
It would be for Humane
Oh,
Society.
that makes sense. Zach's got a question.
Oh, Zach.
far as cables, from my understanding, they're gonna honor most of their bigger charge accounts and allow them to do that. So
That's good.
at this point,
That's good.
We'll still be fine.
Okay, thank you very much, Chief. All right, next on the agenda is unfinished business. First thing would be the library. You should have a copy of the lease agreement with the library. This is something that we mutually requested so that we have an understanding going forward.
Because I took my question on
They haven't there yet.
So it's, we're not charging them, and then it automatically renews unless somebody gives notice of termination. Those are the takeaways. And it also, if the library was to be taken over by another entity, the lease terminates, giving us the ability to renegotiate with another entity that wouldn't be in our city library.
What kind of legal structure is the library?
That's,
Uh,
I mean,
they're in effect political subdivision. They have their own board that they appoint, or they recommend the appointment of board members to this board, who is a political subdivision and approves or disapproves the recommendations. They have taxation and spending authority exclusive of us.
There's the separate library tax, and that was part of the reason that we had to kind of be more separate on them, is because they have their own financial, and they're supposed to be
correct.
Clear.
We had the pleasure, and I'm not being sarcastic when I say this, they were awesome to work with. No, we were contacted by the Secretary of State's office, encouraging us to expedite the separation. We gave them a timeline. We met the timeline. There is a final payment due to them that our city clerk has been working with their board members to come to a mutual agreement. Is that fair to say? So we'll see where that goes. In the meantime, we had started out this process totally different. Long story short, they too are strapped relative to revenues, and we have at one point or another agreed to everything in here, but it was never codified in the form of a contract. And so that's what this attempts to do, is to make it very clear to both parties what our responsibilities are, what our expectations are.
I'll make a
And
motion.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I had a question on section
I was
3.
actually meeting with the library the other day when Cindy Holtz was in town, so I didn't get to come to that, but, yeah, they had some questions regarding their tax revenues and so forth, so we're getting close to getting everything finalized.
On section 3, that we shall provide insurance for their premises.
That's probably for general liability.
The general liability
Building
and
insurance.
contents.
it's our building.
Building,
Yeah.
but not their content.
Their content, we would not.
But they would carry the liability.
Yeah, if they want to insure their books, it'd be on them.
Well, but like if somebody fell or something.
If somebody fell in the building, it's probably going to be.
It's
on
Our
Yeah.
building. We own the building.
I mean, we own the building, we own the
Right.
stairs, we own the floors. If they throw someone out the window, it's a different situation. I
Anything
would
else?
think, I don't know.
Cool.
Oh,
I'll make
go ahead, please.
I'll make a motion to approve the lease agreement between the City of Monroe City and the Monroe City Public Library as presented.
We have a motion on the floor to approve the lease agreement between the City of Monroe City and the public library. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion, a second, and a third to approve the lease agreement between the City of Monroe City and the public library. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. The ayes have it, motion carries. Next thing we have is precision pumping.
I don't have a revised contract for that, John, do you have one for them?
Okay, that was going to increase the fee up to
11.4.
11.4 cents.
Okay, 0.114.
Yeah.
So the current 0.10, the current fee structure.
So we can get that.
We'll need to get that put in the form of a contract. What happened, my recollection is this: they gave us a contract, we agreed to the contract they provided to us, even though it was a very minimally constructed contract. Maybe what I should do is find that and send it to you.
Sure. Yeah.
This may be on me. I don't know.
And I think within the last month, they had 8 loads that they delivered.
They've substantially reduced their loads. Well, case of Ross Rock.
Okay.
Okay, next thing we have on the agenda is a closed session of this meeting pursuant to RSMO 610.021, paragraph 3, hiring, firing, disciplining, or promoting of particular employees by a public governmental body when personal information about the employee is discussed or recorded.
I'll make a motion to go into closed session pursuant to RISMO 610.021, section 3.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second on the floor to go into closed session pursuant to RSMO 610.021, paragraph 3, hiring, firing, disciplining, or promoting a particular employee by a governmental body. Personal information about the employee is discussed and recorded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? I'm sorry, do by vote, don't we? I apologize. By roll call.
Alderman Smith,
Yes.
Alderman Snyder.
Yes.
Alderman Simpson,
Yes.
Alderman Saunders.
Yes.
Alderman Quinn. Yes.
Should we make a short break?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's take a short break. When everybody shows back up, we'll get started.